standby for opener.
Sri Lanka's #1 sports channel, ThePapare.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the Air Force grounds in Ratmalana. It's week 1 of the Dialog Schools Rugby League. St. Thomas's College, the hosts of today's game, take on Thurstan College in a much anticipated clash where both teams will look to try and get off to a very good start in their 2026 season. Fresh off the Dialog Schools Rugby knockouts, St. Thomas's College and Thurstan College, both teams locking horns for the first time, and a first real chance for us to see what these teams have been prepared
in that knockout finals, beating them 58-26, showing what they are capable of, showing what the potential they have. But nevertheless, as the season drags, you're not too sure what Royal is capable of as well. We saw that during the last year's Rugby as well. As you have in the screen the week 1 fixtures, Wesley College took on Prince of Wales College yesterday here at Havelock Park, and a dominant win for Wesley, 69 points to 12. And today 4 games happening here, as St. Peter's will host Mahanamu College at St. Peter's College grounds, as Anand will host St. Joseph's, the Battle of Maradana, and it will be played at Anand College grounds in Maradana. And of course this game, DS Senanayake hosting Sri Sumangala College Kandy, and St. Thomas's will play against Thurstan at Air Force grounds, and Trinity College will face Lumbini and Kingswood College will face Zaira. Both the games will happen tomorrow, and 2 more games on Sunday. Isipatana will host St. Anthony's College Kandy, and Royal College will host Sands College at Royal College Sports Complex.
A weekend filled with rugby action, and all those action being brought to you by ThePapare.com, Sri Lanka's #1 sports channel. Here's the points table so far. In the cup segment, we have Trinity College Kandy. This was the last year's points table. As you can see, the cup segment, Trinity College taking the cup home, and the plate with DS and the ball champions, St. Anthony's College Kandy. All 24 points and 29 and 24. There's a big match in the cup segment of Trinity, Wesley and Royal, and St. Thomas, St. Peter's and Isipatana College giving their heart out for the cup. And in the plate, the DS, St. Joseph's and Kingswood, Saira, and Sri Sumangala College, Kandy and Ananda College fighting for that plate. And end of the season, the cup went for Trinity, and plate was with DS, and a ball went with St. Anthony's College, Kandy. So this year, we shall see what all these teams have in store for us. And any predictions, Jonathan?
Well, yes, Trinity College Kandy looking favourites in this season. Methila, of course, they proved that in the knockouts tournament as well. But nevertheless, looking at the season last year, it was a season with lots of surprises. Isipathana College clinching the knockouts title and Trinity College clinching the league title. But St. Peter's did that surprise at Pallakele, beating the league champions by 2 points. And then moving on to the Bradby Shield, Royal College did manage to beat the league champs Trinity College Kandy. So it was a season with a lot of surprises. Yes, I would say Trinity looking favourites, but nevertheless, till the end of the season, it's very difficult to predict because all these teams are brilliant. And as we will bring you the live action of this game, do stay tuned with us as we will be heading for a commercial break. Yeah, Papare, the Sri Lanka's #1 sports channel.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection samagin pirimin sadahamai.
Introducing Elephant House Wonder Bar Gold. Crack your wonder.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Introducing new Air Action Mentos, the peak of freshness. Mentos, yes to fresh.
Saratama enjoy karanga party ekata go.
Night Go Pocket Perfume. Youth ekata go ekak.
Experience what it means to have true peace of mind with NDB credit cards. NDB credit cards, the advantage in your wallet.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
ලීසින් එක ගත්ත වේගෙන්ම හවසින් ලෝන් එක ගන්න ළඟම LB ෆයිනෑන්ස් එකට
අව්ව නිසා බොඩි එක කූල් නැත්තම් මයින්ඩ් එකත් කූල් නැහැ. ඒකට තමයි ඩෙටෝල් අයිසිකූල්. අව්වත් එක්ක ඇති වෙන දාඩිය නිසා හැදෙන විෂ බීජ වලින් ආරක්ෂා කර ඔබේ ඇඟ 3 ගුණයකින් කූල් කරයි.
NDB Leasing බාපු ගමන් නැවෙන් ලීසින් එක අපෙන් ඉලෙක්ට්‍රික් හයිබ්‍රිඩ් පෙට්‍රල් ඩීසල් ඕනම වාහනයකට නොම්බර එකේ ලීසින් NDB Leasing NDB බැංකුව
Love Rugby
Live Rugby
Prima Kotimi Fun Tamai.
Pain can pause your active life. Get the all-new Move Pain Relief Spray for fast, long-lasting pain relief.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
බෑග් වල බොරු ගණන් ගහලා පස්සේ ලොකු ඩිස්කවුන්ට් දෙන දේවල් මාගාව නෑ මහත්.
ඔබේ නිවසේ පරිපූර්ණ නිමාවකට දවටනේ නියම මිල සඳහන් ස්විස්ටෙක් නිෂ්පාදන මිලදී ගන්න. ස්විස්ටෙක් ගන්න ඕනේ හොඳම තීරණය.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Love rugby.
Live rugby.
Prima Kotimi. Fun tamai.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Let's KFC. Making moments special. Most value for money from KFC.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
ලීසින් එක ගත්ත වේගෙන්ම හවසින් ලෝන් එක ගන්න ළඟම LB ෆයිනෑන්ස් එකට එන්න.
සීන විමන් මවනා ඔබටයි.
Perfectly Swiss Tech Aluminium. නඩත්තු වියදම් නැති ජාත්‍යන්තර සහතික සමග වසර 30ක් දක්වා වගකීමක් ඇති Swiss Tech Aluminium. ඔබත් කොටේෂන් එකක් අරගෙන බලන්න.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Introducing the 2025 TVS Apache RTR 204V. Pain can pause your active life. Get the all-new Move Pain Relief Spray for fast, long-lasting pain relief.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Perfectly Swiss Tech Aluminium. නඩත්තු වියදම් නැති ජාත්‍යන්තර සහතික සමග වසර 30ක් දක්වා වගකීමක් ඇති Swiss Tech Aluminium. ඔබත් කොටේෂන් එකක් අරගෙන බලන්න.
අව්ව නිසා බොඩි එක කූල් නැත්තම් මයින්ඩ් එකත් කූල් නැහැ. ඒකට තමයි ඩෙටෝල් අයිසි කූල්. අව්වත් එක්ක ඇති වෙන දාඩිය නිසා හැදෙන විෂ බීජ වලින් ආරක්ෂා කර ඔබේ ඇඟ 3 ගුණයකින් කූල් කරයි.
Perfectly Swiss Tech Aluminium. ඔබත් කොටේෂන් එකක් අරගෙන බලන්න.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Welcome back. Yeah, a crucial clash here at Havelock Park today. DS versus Sumangal. Let's see, both teams are warming up right now.
As we have a look at the screen, the last year's road to final in the Dialog Schools Rugby Knockouts 2025. Isipatana clinched that title in a close game against Trinity, 12 points to 9. If you all recall that, the game was almost over, but Isipatana had other ideas, changing the whole momentum into their favour as they came into the final, beating Royal in the quarter-final 24-17, and meanwhile Trinity did meet Zahira 29-12, beating Zahira, coming into finals, meeting Isipatana, and that was the game for Isipatana. But nevertheless, Trinity this year, they made sure that they did not make the same mistake back to back as they were able to emerge as champions in the knockouts of 2026. In the screen, the last year's points table, a season with lots of surprises. As you see, the cup segment, Trinity College Kandy, the league champs last year. But if you look at that, 5 matches played, won 4 matches and lost only 1, and that was that big surprise by St. Peter's College Kandy beating Trinity in their own Lions Den, 22 points to 20. But Trinity, by that time, they have owned the league, and of course Wesley College, after a few years, coming back into the season with a brilliant performance, ended up as runners-up, and Royal College and St. Thomas's very close there in that third place spot. Royal College with 19 points and St. Thomas's College with 16, and St. Peter's at 5th, and Isipatana starting off as knockout champions, but not a promising league for Isipatana, ending up as the last spot in the cup segment. And well, as looking at the plate segment, the host today, DS Senanayake College, did manage to clinch their title. DS Senanayake had a good team. They had brilliant backs as well. Talking about that team, and of course the Josephians in the second place in that plate segment. Kingswood, Zaira, Anand College and Sri Sumangala did not have much to say in that plate segment. And moving on to the ball segment of 2025, the Antonians were able to clinch that title for the Hill Country and Mahanam College, but did manage to beat the Antonians in that final game in the ball segment. But just like in the Trinity's case, Antonians did own the ball championship by that time. And Thurstan College, Science College, Vidyartha College and Dharmaraja College did not have much to say in that ball segment.
This year's groups, we have Group 1A, Trinity College, Isipathana College, DS Nanaka College, Sri Sumangala College and St. Anthony's College. And debut in A division we have Lumbini College. And Group 2A we have Wesley, we have St. Peter's College, we have St. Joseph's College and Ananda College, Mahanama College. And the other debut school we have Prince of Wales. And in Group 3A we have Royal, St. Thomas, Kingswood, Zaira, Thurstan College and Science College.
Well, yes, interesting three groups, Methila. It's going to be an interesting season. This school's rugby season has expanded in many ways, and that competition has never gone down, rather than increasing up as all these schools. Nevertheless, you cannot mention any team that's with less potential. Even if we look at Lumbini College promoting to A division this year, we saw that in the knockouts tournament how good of a team they are. They have strong backs, running backs I would say, and nevertheless all these teams have brilliant setups as we enter into this Dialog Schools Rugby League 2026, the first week, and there's plenty of action, 4 months coming, and all these action will be covered through Papare, Sri Lanka's #1 sports channel.
Yes, indeed. We have the Clubs League, but nevertheless, it's the Schools League. Everyone's excited, everyone's cheering for their schools, and players here shedding blood and sweat for their own schools. And just like that, we'll go for another quick commercial break, and we'll be back with an encounter to watch.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
ගෙවන් යන්න ෆෝන්ස් ගන්න ළඟම ආබාන්ස් එකට යන්න ලොකු පොඩි හැම ෆෝන්ස් ගන්න ළඟම ආබාන්ස් එකට යන්න හොඳම ෆෝන් එකක් ගන්න ළඟම ආබාන්ස් එකට යන්න.
Introducing Elephant House Wonder Bar Gold. Crack your wonder.
Captain Cool, Captain Cool, Captain Cool. අවුව නිසා බොඩි එක කූල් නැත්තම් මයින්ඩ් එකත් කූල් නැහැ. ඒකට තමයි Dettol Icy Cool.
NDB Leasing බාපු ගමන් නැවෙන් ලීසින් එක අපෙන් ඉලෙක්ට්‍රික් හයිබ්‍රිඩ් පෙට්‍රල් ඩීසල් ඕනම වාහනයකට නොම්බරේකේ ලීසින් NDB Leasing NDB බැංකුව.
නව Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Perfectly Swiss Tech Aluminium ඔබත් කොටේෂන් එකක් අරගෙන බලන්න. Introducing new Air Action Mentos, the peak of freshness. Yes, too fresh.
නව Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
කිචන් එක අපාස් කරන්නේ දැන් වයිෆුත් හැපි එකේ ඉන්නේ.
වයිෆ් හැපි කරන්න. කිචන් එක අබාන්ස් කරන්න.
දවසම ෆ්‍රෙෂ් වෙන්න. O3 Spirit and Freedom perfumed body spray.
Introducing Elephant House Wonder Bar Gold. Crack your wonder.
Introducing new Air Action Mentos, the peak of freshness. Yes, too fresh.
Boy, I'm a copy of pen of the second go.
Black Night Go. Pocket perfume. Youth එකට go එකක්.
NDB Leasing බාපු ගමන් නැවෙන් ලීසින් එක අපෙන් ඉලෙක්ට්‍රික් හයිබ්‍රිඩ් පෙට්‍රල් ඩීසල් ඕනම වාහනයකට නොම්බරේකේ ලීසින් NDB Leasing NDB බැංකුව.
එතකොට මහත්තයාරුනේ ටයිල් ඇඩිසිව් ග්‍රවුට් වෝටර්ප්‍රූෆින් ස්කිම් කොට් නේ.
ලොකු ඩිස්කවුන්ට් එකක් නැද්ද මුදලාලි අතන කඩේ 140ක් දෙන්නම් කිව්වා.
බෑග්වල බොරු ගණන් ගහලා පස්සේ ලොකු ඩිස්කවුන්ට් දෙන දේවල් මාගාව නෑ මහත්තයා.
ඔබේ නිවසේ පරිපූර්ණ නිමාවකට දවටනේ නියම මිල සඳහන් ස්විස් ටෙක් නිෂ්පාදන මිලදී ගන්න. ස්විස් ටෙක් ගන්න ඕනේ හොඳම තීරණය.
Love Rugby.
Live Rugby.
Prima Kotumi. Fun Tamari.
Captain Cool.
අවුව නිසා බොඩි එක කූල් නැත්තම් මයින්ඩ් එකත් කූල් නැහැ. ඒකට තමයි ඩෙටෝල් අයිසි කූල්.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Welcome back to live pictures from the Air Force grounds in Ratmalana. It's a very still day, which is unusual for this ground here. And the windsock, as we see on the runway, is pretty much limp as a sparse crowd has made their way here to this ground to watch St. Thomas's taking on Thurstan College. It's supposed to be a home game for St. Thomas's, but they're not playing at home. They're not playing at their famous big club ground. They're playing instead here at the Air Force grounds, which is just a little way across town, as that flag is being prepared for the Thurstan team to run under it to give a challenge to this Thomian team, who will, I'm sure, be ready to face it. But don't be surprised if there are the makings of an upset, even if we don't get one today.
Well, you can't really say what these teams are like, isn't it? There's been a long time since we have last seen them. St. Thomas's, we last saw them in the quarterfinals. Thurstan, we last saw them in the pre-quarterfinals. And a lot can happen during that period. Lots of changes can happen. Injuries could happen. It's a long season, Shanaka. So it's always important to manage your players, but also manage your coaching structure and how you put it, how you plan your, your practice games and all of that as well. So it's always going to be interesting to see how the first game of the season is going to pan out. Of course, both teams would want the big W, but it's always going to be challenging.
Certainly will be, and lots of changes for the Thomians from that team that played in the quarterfinals against Sri Sumangala, and the team that played in the quarterfinals against Royal. They did get a win under their belt against Sri Sumangala, but this Thurstan team will want to bring something a little bit more aggressive to the contest. A team coached by Shamli Nawaz also, who knows this team fairly well, knows the Thomian boys who would have been juniors when he was coaching a couple of years ago, so he will know what they bring to the party. It's going to be an interesting encounter, that much is for sure, because a lot of new combinations for the Thomians. We'll talk about that when we see the team cards up, but a few positional shifts as well, so it's going to be a very, very interesting affair, especially because both teams will be coming in with first game blues. As you said, Abid, it's been a few weeks, so even though you've played already this season, if you haven't played for 3 or 4 weeks since, you may as well not have.
Rugby is a contact sport, and if you don't get into contact, it's not a sport. It's difficult to stay in the contest. But Thurstan, of course, the game against Trinity that they played, they were very good in the second half in terms of their defense. I thought Trinity didn't turn up, but for Trinity not to turn up, Thurstan has to turn up in the second half. They didn't allow the eventual Dialog Schools knockout champions to score any tries in that second half, and they managed to score, if I recall correct, I think it was 8 points. So it's going to be pretty interesting with the Thomian youngsters there playing rugby at the back, and also a bit more composed lads in front awaiting the game. Of course, in the big club grounds, you have the small club grounds behind it, so they always used to playing a bit of tap rugby while the main action is in the middle.
Yes, it's unfortunate for the Thomians, of course, that they're not at home in their familiar surroundings, but this ground is a ground that they train on quite regularly. They have trained on before, so I'm sure they will view it as some kind of an advantage. Thurstan have had to travel quite a bit away, and once again, Shamli Nawaz knows this ground well because he used to coach the Air Force team a few years ago as well. So the wind is a factor that will come into play in this ground. Not maybe now at the moment, because as I said, there doesn't seem to be any breeze at all. But if the breeze does pick up in the second half, it's going to be interesting. Thurstan have won the toss and they'll be receiving the kick, and St. Thomas's will be playing from right to left on your screens, is the intelligence that we have gotten so far. So let's wait and see how much of an impact that will have, as well as we await kickoff in this all-important first game for these teams in the Dialog Schools League Championship. It's going to be a really outstanding championship, I'm sure, if the knockout was anything to go by. We're just about at the time of kickoff. I'm not sure if there's any real delay as such, but sure the teams will run out very, very shortly. So we have for Thurstan, we'll just tell you who's the starting 15. We have Pasan Vihanga at prop, Parinda Senaratna, Keshara Tilakaratna at tight head, Yehen Anavaratna, Kalana Kuchana and Sanul Soizai in the second rows, Ruchara Hishan, Jayatu Rasanjana and Senat Pereira is the scrum half, Tenuk Viran, Akisha Pushpakumara, Amidu Rajapaksa, Ahad Saleh, Zaid Irshad and Thikshana Munasinghe is your fullback. And a few new names for St. Thomas's. Arya Wansa starts alongside Pereira and Imran. Vaniga Surya alongside Yashti Simon in the second row. Thiesha Alivihara moves on the second row back to the flank where his familiar position is Romet Vijayasinghe and the captain Mikhail Karunaratne. Piyaratne starts at number 9 alongside the unfamiliar name of Mayank Dias, who's moved from the wing to number 10. And on one wing, Darren George, and he's partnered by Bandar on the other wing. And in midfield, Albert and Akbar form a new combination for St. Thomas's, with Varnasuriya bringing up the last line of defence at fullback. So that's the team that will do battle for the Thomians. And they'll be buoyed by the return of colorsman Ahaliagoda in the number 25 jersey, who's making a comeback from a cricket season. And he will get on at some point for sure.
No down Bulat Singalage today for St. Thomas's College, and the man in the middle today will be Ishanka Abeko and Tarindu Pereira on one touchline, and Priya Suranga will be on the other touchline. A lot of work to do. I really hope they're not called in too much, and I really hope for their sake that it's a season where we go without blaming the referees. Very difficult in Sri Lanka rugby or in rugby as a whole, but I really do hope the referees do have a good season, which in turn means all of us as spectators will have a great season.
Plenty of work has been done by the Sri Lanka Society of Rugby Football Referees in the close season between the club championship and the school kickoff of the schools championship. They're really pumping a lot of resources into making sure that they have the right help to make sure the referees keep improving week on week, doing the assessments, making sure the accountability levels are upheld as well. So that's something that the society has been doing, aided of course by Pavitra Fernando's elite referee panel at Sri Lanka Rugby. So it's going to be a very interesting development phase for all the referees in Sri Lanka. Ishanka Abekun, one of the most experienced of them, and he's in touch as immediately Thurstan spring a bit of a surprise with Aminda Rajapaksa kicking off to the unexpected side, and Zaidan Akbar is immediately handed the ball to do just what he's done there and thump the ball as far as he can, taken the team almost up to the 50-meter mark.
Quite a good kick from Akbar there, getting his team a few meters, but this is where it's going to start to get interesting. First set piece, first line out for Thurstan College. Early nerves for sure for Tarindu Senaratne, who will be throwing into his first line out in this Dialog Schools Rugby League. Gets it right.
Johan Anavaratne is the man at number 2 for Thurstan. You can see exactly why he's been picked, not for his weight, but for his aerial abilities. It's a good line out from Thurstan, who looked to move it early on. Coming back on the angle was Rajapaksa, and that one is thumped deep by Saleh, taken by Varnasuriya, who evades one tackle. Eventually brought down by Theekshana Munasinghe, who was chasing that kick but didn't get up as fast as he wanted to. Piyaratne hands it off to the big forward runners for their first big collision of the game. Mikhail Karunaratne, it's a nice set of hands to hand that off quickly because they were expecting him to run with it. That time it was it was Albert who had the pass a little bit behind him. Knocked the ball on, and first scrum of the game again to Thurstan.
Well, early nerves from St. Thomas's. I thought kick would have been the better option without staying on this part of the field. But you're always a bit nervy when you get the ball for the first time this early on in the season.
Blue, keep the 5 meter.
First scrum, always such an important moment for the two sets of forwards. You establish some sort of dominance in the first scrum, and that kind of hangs over the team that didn't win that contact. You can see the tight head on this side. Pasan Vihanga really coming off second best in that hit against Arya Vansa. And Ishanka Abekun has immediately moved to the loose head side of the tight head side of the scrum. Just have a look that everything is kosher. Vihanga hasn't managed to get his arm up, but it's a good scrum by Thurstan to make sure they get a good platform, and a show and go from Senat Pereira. The scrum half has shown early signs of a bit of nippiness.
Backwards, play on.
Ball has gone back.
Release, clear release.
Straight over the
clear
top
release.
is Zaid and Akbar, but hadn't shown enough of a lift to get rewarded for that. Pereira. Here's Saleh. And number 10, Tenuka Viran. He's standing at second or third receiver in most of these moves for Thurstan to make sure he can distribute, and unfortunately that's been knocked forward. The pass is at the bootlaces of the big prop coming in.
The line speed from the Thomians so far in this game, just 3.5 minutes gone, but they're putting their defense line right in the face of the Thurstanites. Thurstan, I thought maybe you're a bit too flat there, but just look at the line speed from St. Thomas's. It's very good. They're fronting up, putting pressure on the man who is playing at the base and also the first receiver, so putting a lot of pressure on the Thurstanites, and they win themselves their first set piece of the game.
Getting in the eye line of the first receivers, especially when they're charging onto the ball. Oh, that hasn't been hooked. It's come straight out of the tunnel, and Ian Pereira will want a little bit better communication with his scrum half. Hooking is a dying art, the old-timers will say. You can see exactly why when you just replay what happened in that last scrum. Pieratna this time gets his angles right and gives it to Albert. Nice straight running by St. Thomas's, and now they've got a little bit of space for Isaac. Cutting back was Akbar, who takes it into the 22. Well controlled by St. Thomas's there, and Mikhail Karnaratne gets his first real carry of the game. Coming back in was Aman Imran. Here's Akbar again. He's strong and hard. Pieratna takes a little two-step before he gives it off to his big forward runners. St. Thomas is now approaching the 22, but Aryavansa coughs it up. Good defense by his opposite number, and referee Shankar Bekun is playing advantage. Munasinghe will be happy to take it. Here they go now, Thurstan, showing a lot of adventure. Coming back was Anavaratna, who was camping out for some reason on the left-hand touchline. Still available for Thurstan. They've got out of jail there. Threading the touchline. And they've got some numbers now for the counter-attack to St. Thomas's. Mayank Das puts the hand off Indus.
Tackle release.
Akbar. Nicely taken that time by Mikhail Karnaratne, but they needed him to get those high knees pumping a little bit to get past the gain line, break the first line of defense. Unfortunately, Pieratna has had to go. And it looks like referee Abekun had his hand up for advantage.
No advantage. Captain.
He's offering Mikhail Karnaratne one of two offside penalties.
Hi.
Both teams just not able to finish off what they've started early on. St. Thomas's seem to be having the depth in their line. That kick from Akbar. Oh, he just threads the needle there. Just gets it in between the 5-meter line and the try line. That kick will make that man happy, but for a moment he would have been on pains.
Yes, it's always one of those things when the ball leaves your foot. There's just so much you can do about a stray gust of wind that might come through and make you look ridiculous. But for him, fortunately, that time that didn't happen. And in terms of Rexona lineouts won, we have Thurstan who've won one. St. Thomas's haven't really managed to win that one.
St. Thomas's get the ball back.
Bye.
After the Thurstanites knock it on. Here's a chance for St. Thomas's to maybe get the first Amana Bank try in this game.
Running straight onto that ball, but held up by Thurstan. Excellent defense from them in the end. Needed to get his body position lower. He's a big lad, but absolutely needed to bend at the hips when he got close to the line, and made it quite easy for the Thurstan defense in the end.
A moral victory for the Thurstanites. Went low first, the fly off, and then a high shot.
Good work from Munasinghe, who hung on for dear life there. Akbar now with the dropout for the ball for St. Thomas's Romit Vijay. It's a real terrier in defense, but probably needs to improve his hands and attack. Wonderful work from Makal Karunaratne, and Aluvihara loses the ball forward. A superb run from the captain and a lovely one-handed offload as well. It's all those basketball skills coming to play. But Tiesha Aluvihara just couldn't hang on with the line at his mercy.
Aluvihara definitely won't be happy with that. The try was right in front of him. Just had to collect and go. His captain won't be too happy with that after the effort that he put in there. But I think something that St. Thomas's is lacking so far in this game is they're not running onto the ball, Shanaka. They're waiting for the ball to come to them, which is not allowing them any opportunity to create. It's after they get the ball that they look to try and create, but there's much more that happens off the ball. Here's Thurstan now. They need to get out of their red zone.
Munasinghe, it was always going to be dangerous, but luckily for him, Vijay Singh has charged down ricochets further than the deadline. Good work from the open side flanker, but he needed to be in the pocket there.
The gutsy stuff there from Vijay Singh.
I think referee Abekun may be just asking.
Taken.
Whether Vijay Singh came off the side of the scrum a little too early, but hasn't got a confirmation by the sound of things. Seemed like he got his timing right on that replay. As we have Aminda Rajapaksa, who puts this one as far as Mayank Dias, and Akbar carries it strongly into the big set of Thurstan forwards. Pieratna. Albert once again with that very high body position, which hasn't helped him, but he's managed to get to ground, but not before Makal Karunaratne can snap the ball up. Did really well there, the captain, because Albert's body position meant that Thurstan were able to go flooding in, and once again the defense from Thurstan has been pretty good.
Well, after holding St. Thomas's up right on their try line, Shanaka, I think Thurstan trusting their defense quite a bit. Here's their defense. They're fronting up, but that was just, he caught the ball before he got it. Now Thurstan a chance to make defense into attack. Need to scan their options. 4 of the backline players, or 5 rather, from St. Thomas's up in the first line of defense. Just the one man behind, so there might be space at the back for Thurstan.
Interested to see whether they keep it in hand or try to kick. They go open side, although there were really nice blind side available for them. Nice pass out in front of the wing 3/4. And Zaid Irshad does well to break the gain line. Over goes to big Jayatur Rasanjana. Romit Vijayasinghe is caught in there, can't get out of the way. Ishanka Abekun is not going to get foxed by that. Kesara Tilakaratna carries. Sanuja needs quick ball to Senat Pereira but doesn't get it. Good defense from the Thomians. Flying up once again was Arya Vansa in the closer channels. Good collision from Thurstan, but unfortunately the ball is a little bit slow coming out to the wings as Theekshana Munasinghe has to take it behind him, but Senat Pereira is with him once again. Slow ball for the Thurstanites. Smashed back in that tackle was Ruchara Hishan. Big run from Kesara Tilakaratna. Good continuity from Thurstan. St. Thomas's defense hasn't faltered yet, but they are being tested. Here's some numbers over on the blind side. Ziad with a lovely fend, but just can't get past. In fact, it's Akisha Pushpakumara on that left side, and he just couldn't get away, but threatened.
Promising stuff from Thurstan College. Not too sure why they have Anavaratna on the corner there. Maybe want to use his height advantage for a cross kick. That's the only thing that comes to my mind. Having a lock forward in the corner there, but just missing out. Maybe should have stepped a bit early on off his left foot.
Well, the first line out for the Thomians has been an area of the game that has plagued them, as Vanika Surya wins this one quite easily. Nice short passing, but unfortunately between Mikhail Karunaratne and Romit Vijayasinghe, they conspire to lose the ball, and it falls for the Thurstanites, who have an opportunity now just on the 22-meter line of the Thomians. Once again carried strongly by Hishan. Nice run that time by Aminda Rajapaksa. Still going is Munasinghe. Munasinghe, can he see the line? Yes, he can, and he scores. And first blood is drawn. First Amana Bank try by Theekshana Munasinghe for Thurstan College. Had plenty to do when he caught the ball and dragged the Thomian defence over with him and managed to ground it.
Well, it was coming, isn't it? Thurstan College seemed like they were finding their mojo. It was a good run from Aminda Rajapaksa, and the ball just squirted out for a second. I thought maybe it went off one of the Thurstan College players' feet, but the try comes in for Theekshana Munasinghe, and he scores early on. It took some time for that try to come, but Munasinghe gets the first Amana Bank try. It's 5-0. Thurstan College have the advantage early on.
Between Akbar and Darren George, they let him right the way through, and Vanna could do nothing, as Akisha Pushpakumara will try and put over the gold conversion, but doesn't get close enough to the posts. That's your try scorer, Theekshana Munasinghe.
I think now St. Thomas's can't lose the plot, isn't it? They're 5 points down early on. They had a majority of the possession. They just couldn't convert it into points. Looks like they're plotting and strategizing until they are being asked to come by referee Abekon. But now I think St. Thomas's needs to kick deep here. Shanaka, get the chasers up and stop Thurstan right in their tracks and maybe try and force a turnover.
Well, it's been their own fault, isn't it, Abid, because they've dropped the ball on their own 22 and in the opposition 22 as well, when they had more than enough opportunities to score. So that's something that they'll have to fix, and fix pretty quickly. Ball comes to a stop, thankfully for the Thomians, just short of the deadline, but it's touched down immediately, and it will be a 22 dropout.
It's a deep kick from Akbar, but too deep there.
In fact, it's an immediate touchdown, so it will come all the way back to the center for a scrum. So that's another response that is not ideal from the Thomians, especially when you've just gone 5 points down. So again, as Shamli Nawaz is wont to do, the feed from the right side, just taking the scrum half out of the equation. Lovely fend that time from Ahad Saleh. Saleh still going, cutting back in field. Takes 3 defenders to bring him down into the 22. He's made 50 meters, did Saleh. Hishan again. And that's gone blindside. Here's Saleh who started it all off. They give the ball back to him, and why not? Senat to his big number 8, Rasanjana. And this time it's the man who created that last try, Aminda Rajapaksa. Slow ball for Senat Pereira. But now the little cross kick comes in. Do they have the space? No, they don't. It's not accurate. But they had the adventure to try it.
Thurstan College are really running onto the ball with pace, isn't it? I like as soon as Saleh made that break, Thurstan were in shape and they were ready to go right off the base. And that's where St. Thomas's was caught offside. It's just the urgency, isn't it? Thurstan College just seemed to have it a bit more in this first 20 minutes.
Well, they're leading against a fancied side, Abid, and that's certainly going to give them a lot of impetus. Whether they can make that last for the 70 minutes, of course, we'll have to wait and see. But for now, the momentum is all with Thurstan. Wonderful run by Ahad Saleh. Skipper leading by example there. And that time, Rajapaksa once more making sure he puts the ball in a dangerous position.
Well, backs have done the work so far for Thurstan College. Here's a chance for the forwards. Got the scrum half at the back of the line out. They go for an overthrow. They just go to number 2.
Rasanjana, and it's over for the try. Blindside move. And the second Amana Bank try comes to Tarinda Sena Ratna. He hit his marker, got behind the offside line, and Rasanjana with a lovely draw and pass on the blind side. And Thurstan are 2 tries up.
Well, you just have to ask, where was the Thomian defense on that short side? There was absolutely no one from that peel. I thought the man who peeled could have just gone through as well. But somehow St. Thomas has got someone in the nick of time, but just not enough of defense from the Thomians on the short side. Here's... Oh, it was very good. Good stuff there. You see the man in the number 5 jumper. If you can have another look at it, Kalana Kujara. His contact point was a bit... It was not straight. And he took the St. Thomas's defense out there and didn't allow them to come out and get them their second Amana Bank try. No goal conversion, so it will remain 10 points to 0. And Thurstan College don't just have the backs, but they also have the forward, Shanaga.
Yeah, they certainly do. That was a wonderful set piece. I'm sure head coach Nawaz will be very happy with that try. Not just the fact that they managed to execute it, but they knew when to pull it out of their armory, Abid, and that was really important. Rasanjana also didn't get greedy. He drew and he passed it to the open man. And that's always good to see from a coaching point of view, that your players don't think that they need to score themselves and get their teammates into the game. Good stuff there from Thurstan.
Here's a 1-minute water break for the boys. It's not very sunny here, but it's very humid. I'm pretty sure the boys would have trained in much worse conditions. The conditions in Colombo was way, way worse. But the Thomians need to do something different, Ishanak, and I don't know what they have to do differently, but they just need to have that intent, and more than anything, it's just the basics, isn't it? Catch the ball.
They've just got to catch the ball and make sure they're running with some kind of intentionality. And that's just physicality is something that they've got to make sure that they dominate this smaller Thurstan side with. But at the moment, they're getting dominated in that collision area. So that's something that they really need to fix, and fix quickly, because 10 points is not a small gap, Abid, because it's still a 2-score gap. And whether it's 14-0 or 10-0, it still means you need to score twice. So that's where the problems are going to start mounting up if they don't get points on the board.
They're going to have to get those points fast, isn't it? They can't let Thurstan into the game any further, and they need to get stuck in this game as soon as possible. Can come in even multiples of 3, but St. Thomas's just need to get the ball rolling here. But for Thurstan College, they just need to continue what they have been doing. That's just stick to the basics and run onto the ball.
Well, if you think about it, that try came off the fact that they couldn't get proper field position on that last restart, and that's something we'll see if Akbar has managed to fix. They're playing with the wind in the first half, and Zaidan Akbar gives it everything, but sometimes maybe a little too much, as Anavaratna now breaks off the back. It's been knocked forward by the Thomians in that chase, but they did well to get there.
Tishaluhare doing well on the ground there to earn the penalty, but we go back for the scrum. Now it's a bit of game management from Thurstan, isn't it? Need to play the game on the right parts of the field, get to the other side, and then tries will flow. They can't stay on this part of the pitch. They've got 10 points, but they can't concede any.
Well, for Thurstan, they've got to play for half time. They've got to make sure they don't concede any, and they play, as you said, in the right areas until that next 8 minutes is up. Didn't look like an impressive kick, but it did the job. Good counter-ruck from Thurstan, but St. Thomas is finally getting there. Piyaratna cutting back infield nicely was Vanigasuriya. He'll need some support now. Here it is again for Dias. Dias right out in front of the captain, but it's not controlled, so another dropped ball. That time from Aman Imran, but it's taken quickly by Mayanka Dias. Lovely little off-the-floor offload to the number 18 who's on the pitch, Lakshman Mugundan. Aluvihara. Once again, the Thomians' passing accuracy hasn't been good. Arya about that one, but here they go towards the line. This is where Thurstan managed to force a knock-on last time. Then the Thomians need to get it right, get their latches on, and still got the offside penalty coming from referee Abekon. And this time they get over the line and score the first Amana Bank try for the Thomians. And it comes courtesy of Ean Pereira, the hooker. It's great to see him scoring tries in those positions. He'll want to get his score skills up to his try-scoring record as well, as St. Thomas's get their first Amana Bank try to get onto the board, 10 points to 5.
Well, St. Thomas's really needed that. But for Thurstan College, it's because they didn't clear their lines early on that they had to give that try away. But St. Thomas's College earned that try and get a much needed 5 points onto the scoreboard for themselves. Here's Dias. To try and bridge the gap to just 3 points with this goal conversion.
It's close but not close enough for Mayank Dias, and the goal conversion. The 2 points go a-begging, and those 2 points could be really vital in these close games. Absolutely no easy games in this Dialog Schools League competition. What's the pickup here from Ayan Pereira? It goes around. Somehow manages to get through there. Driven over by his friends at the back. I think it was Tia Shaluvihara who had latched on the number 6 jersey.
Thurstan needs to get this kick deep. Try and maybe force a penalty or force a turnover. That's a good kickoff.
They allow it to bounce, which could have been deadly dangerous. The Thomians really need to get under the ball, especially when it's kicked deep there. Very little pressure. Here's Murasinghe. Oh, and that's Zaidan Akbar, who brought the man down safely, but he's a bit lucky there. Didn't need to lift the player past the horizontal. Here they go again. Is Kalana Kujana. And lovely pick up that time from the flanker, Sanul Soiza. It's all available for Thurstan for their third Amana Bank try. St. Thomas's have regrouped, but Thurstan with all the momentum. Ball squirts out. Senat Pereira finds a number. Tenuka Viran. Here they go. The close quarter stuff once again. It's offside from the Thomian defense, so the discipline has let them down again.
It's a yellow card for the Thomians. I'll tell you who the player is in a minute, but he was told to take his hands off the ground there. And there's a second penalty in a row for being offside.
Looks like that's Yash Simon Abid. So join Ruchara Hishan in the sin bin. They'll have to compare notes.
Now scrum is 7-on-7. No number 8 at the back for both teams. Not to show off the law, Shanaka, but are you allowed to put the flanker to number 8 here?
The rule is that you play without the number 8, Abid, if it's a 7-man scrum. Making a substitution early on, Thurstan. And looks like it's Pasan Vihanga who has come off in place of Tarusha. Senat Pereira. The passing from the base hasn't been fantastic. Viran. It's a bit wobbly once again, but Saleh puts his head down. Saleh still on his feet. Nicely done by Senat Pereira. Just couldn't get it to his winger in time. And on this side of the pitch, it's Zaid Irshad who spills that ball, and the Thomian supporters breathe again.
But he dropped that right in front of his team's bench. That's not going to make his team too happy. But yes, passing off the base hasn't been that clean for Thurstan College, and if it is a bit clean, it is quick, yes, but it's not clean. And if it is much cleaner, I think Thurstan College will benefit a lot more.
Still that 7-on-7 scrum. Really well done by Thurstan. That time you can see why the substitution was made to get the big Tarusha on. Here they go now. They've completely walked over the top of that Thomian scrum. Outstanding work from the Thurstan forwards. Here they go, latching on. They've got about 7 or 8 meters towards that line. Just 2 minutes on the clock. If they can get to half-time with another 2-score cushion, will be brilliant for Thurstan. Senat Pereira, and there's some space for Munasingh, and Ziad this time gets the try. It was only a matter of time. Darren George had absolutely no idea where his opposite number was in terms of marking him up. And when Senat Pereira drew both defenders, he had all the space in the world for the third Amana Bank try for Thurstan College, and it's Zaid Irshad with the third score.
Well, this try might have just looked like it was a draw and pass, but there was a lot more behind that try, Shanaka. There was a very good scrum that won Thurstan College the ball, and after that, it was the little pick and goes towards the post that sucked the Thomian defence in and just making them fall too much and overcommit around that breakdown, which opened the gap in the corner for Irshad to go over. So there was a lot of thinking for Thurstan College to get that Amana Bank try. It's 15 points to 5. They've restored their 10-point gap.
This time it's Rajapaksa with the conversion attempt, and the goal conversion is still not good, so they're going to have to do it in tries if they're going to win the game, Thurstan. And now it's almost half-time. St. Thomas's will be desperate to get at least a penalty on the board before the half-time whistle sounds. Well, we spoke of the potential of an upset before the start of this game, Abid. And it's 50% of time down. What are we going to see here?
Well, if the game goes like this, and if a neutral supporter comes and watches, doesn't know the history of schools rugby in Sri Lanka, they're definitely going to think that Thurstan College are the stronger team and are the team that historically have been playing great rugby. But to be fair by Thurstan College, they're playing this game pretty well. That might be a mistake, but they're playing with a lot of intent.
Well, they were until that point. And I just had a look at Coach Shamli Nawaz in the dugout, and he's just moving to the back of the dugout. So I don't see what he's saying. But that was absolutely silly from Thurstan. They passed 2 long passes, like 7th passes, across the face of their own goalpost. That's absolutely silly. And they need to manage the game, as you said, much, much better. They just needed to thump that one back as far down as they could. And now they've given St. Thomas's opportunity, but St. Thomas's have thrown it away. That's where Ayan Pereira, as much as he scores his tries, needs to make sure that he gets his throws in as well. And it's a relieving kick. It's not very far, but it's good enough. Nobody went up in that line-out, did they?
Well, from both sides, no one. Just a little football throw in. Maybe this time someone goes up from St. Thomas's, puts their name on it. And they put their name on it, but on a line out that you can't put your name on it, that's crooked.
Well, that's 2 lineouts back-to-back that have been squandered, and these are the match-winning moments, aren't they, Abid? This is exactly where Thurstan have made a mistake. They've succumbed to some kind of pressure, a little bit of a brain fade that they've allowed you back into the game. You've got to be able to take those moments. And St. Thomas's have thrown 2 of them away.
But I think now if the Thomians are smart enough, they'll know that. So they'll look to try and get their defense line up. The ball doesn't go too far back into the pocket from the scrum half. It's a bit of a short pass into the pocket. So flankers need to get up there for St. Thomas's.
Well, they did try, but he's learned from his initial mistake and manages to get this one away. So Ayan Pereira will have a third bite at the cherry. This is the thing about line-out calling. I mean, it's just as much of an important skill as either scrummaging or whatever it might be. And that's better from the Thomians. It's quickly off the top to Mikhail Karunaratne, who has to now... Stepping back into the field of play was Lakshman Mukundan, wearing the number 18 jersey. Here's Arya Vansa, who's coughed the ball up a couple of times but takes it into the 22. One nicely in front of Akbar, and that time it's a good run from Darren George into the 22. Piyaratne is there, and it's a really good contest at the breakdown from Thurstan. Aluvihara. Hiran is back from the sin bin. Once again, that pass was not a good one for Mikhail Karunaratne, who gets carried back. It doesn't happen too often for him. But the quality of the pass really didn't give him many options, as Romet Vijay now puts his head down and burrows under the defense. Thurstan line very close to offside, and referee has spotted that. Here they are through the short passes. Akbar to Wanika Surya. Wanika Surya trying to free his arms. Does well to the Thurstan defense to bring him down. Still going is Mikhail Karunaratne. Looking to the short side, Piyaratne. Karavita now. But once again, the penalty is coming. You've got to think about the 3, but maybe this is just a little too far out, especially with the wind coming our way now. Saleh getting a talking to, and his players being told that no more offside penalties. Referee Abekun will not tolerate that. So he's giving them a couple of options, and he's given them an easy option, Abid. And I think Mayanka Dias will do well to take that to go into half-time at 15-8 if they can.
But it's either the 3 or a line out that is not working. The 3 is the most sensible option, and it looks like they're taking neither of those options. Looks like they're ready for a scrum.
My apologies to Yashi Simon, but it was Bandara who actually came off for St. Thomas's with the sin bin. Akbar taking no chances that time, making sure he gets it to the touchline. And another opportunity now for the Thomians to catch and drive.
Well, first catch for St. Thomas's. Nothing fancy needed here, just a number 2 jump would do.
The problem with the number 2 jump is how well Jehan Anavaratna has been doing at number 2. So it's just put that fear of God into Jehan Pereira, hasn't it? It's better from the Thomians, but it's been knocked forward. No, it's a penalty. Hasn't been taken from the correct place, but this time it is. Darren George takes it quickly and runs towards the try line. Thurstan did manage to get 10 meters back before they tackled him, so they will have another opportunity now, the Thomians. This is close quarter stuff that they will enjoy. But they have been on the back foot for most of this game, St. Thomas's, so Thurstan will be fresher. Akbar gets it down. Yes, he does. And that's the second Amana Bank try for St. Thomas's. Zaidan Akbar is the man who scores. He fancied himself from 5 meters out and did manage to get his body position in the right place to get that ball down for another Amana Bank try.
A very important Amana Bank try at that Shanaka for St. Thomas's College. It was a half that was dominated by Thurstan College, you'd have to say. But as a result of them not playing the game in the right parts of the field, yes, their tries came, but the tries came through maybe broken play, and after that just a couple of phases that got them the tries. But St. Thomas's were on this part of the field for quite some time. They're very lucky to have scored that try through Zaidan Akbar. With an important 2 points coming up for them. off the left boot of Mayankadas.
Well, the breeze has really picked up now and it's blowing from the top right of your screen to the bottom left of your screen. And you can see how that ball was really taken away by the post from Mayankadas, and that is the half-time that we've been talking about. So Thurstan was supposed to play for half-time. They couldn't do it. They've conceded an important 5-pointer, and it's 15 points to 10 at half-time in this. Thurstan plays St. Thomas's home game for the Thomians. And it's looking mighty hairy for coach Tristan Healy and the rest of his coaching staff to get his boys back in this game.
Well, a half that was dominated by the Thurstanites, 15 points to 10. They go in with the lead, but can they hold that lead, or will the Thomians be able to mount a comeback? We'll have to wait and see when we come back after the commercial break for the second half. Stay tuned.
අබාන්ස් ෆ්‍රිජ් කියන්නේ අබාන්ස් ෆ්‍රිජ් කියන්නේ පවුලට හරිම ෆ්‍රිජ් එකක් අබාන්ස් ෆැමිලි එකට හරියන අපේ රටේ ෆ්‍රිජ් එක.
Introducing Elephant House Wonder Bar Gold. Crack your wonder.
NDB Leasing බාපු ගමන් නැවෙන් ලීසින් එක අපෙන් ඉලෙක්ට්‍රික් හයිබ්‍රිඩ් පෙට්‍රල් ඩීසල් ඕනම වාහනයකට නොම්බරේකේ ලීසින් NDB Leasing NDB බැංකුව.
Introducing Elephant House Wonder Bar Gold. Crack your wonder.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Perfectly Swiss Tech Aluminium. නඩත්තු වියදම් නැති ජාත්‍යන්තර සහතික සමග වසර 30ක් දක්වා වගකීමක් ඇති Swiss Tech Aluminium. ඔබත් කොටේෂන් එකක් අරගෙන බලන්න.
එයාව හැල්ල බලන්න ක්ලාස් එකට go. Black Night Go. Pocket perfume. Youth එකට go එකක්.
Rugby.
Live Rugby.
Prima Kotumi. Fun Tamari.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Perfectly Swiss Tech Aluminium. ඔබත් කොටේෂන් එකක් අරගෙන බලන්න.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
ලීසින් එක ගත්ත වේගෙන්ම හවුසින් ලෝන් එක ගන්න. ළඟම LB ෆයිනෑන්ස් එකට එන්න.
සීන විමන් මවනා ඔබටයි.
දවසම ෆ්‍රෙෂ් වෙන්න. O3 Spirit and Freedom Perfumed Body Spray.
Let's KFC. Making moments special. Most value for money from KFC.
බෑග් වල බොරු ගණන් ගහලා පස්සේ ලොකු ඩිස්කවුන්ට් දෙන දේවල් මාගාව නෑ මහත්.
ඔබේ නිවසේ පරිපූර්ණ නිමාවකට දවටනේ නියම මිල සඳහන් Swiss Tech නිෂ්පාදන මිලදී ගන්න. Swiss Tech ගන්න ඕනේ හොඳම තීරණය.
Love Rugby.
Live Rugby.
Prima Kotumi. Fun Tamari.
ලීසින් එක ගත්ත වේගෙන්ම හවුසින් ලෝන් එක ගන්න ළඟම LB ෆයිනෑන්ස් එකට එන්න.
සීන විමන් මවනා ඔබටයි.
එතකොට මහත්යාරුනේ ටයිල් ඇඩිසිව් ග්‍රවුට් වෝටර්ප්‍රූෆින් ස්කිම් කොට් නේ.
ලොකු ඩිස්කවුන්ට් එකක් නැද්ද මුදලාලි? අතන කඩේ 140ක් දෙන්නම් කිව්වා.
බෑග් වල බොරු ගණන් ගහලා පස්සේ ලොකු ඩිස්කවුන්ට් දෙන දේවල් මාගාව නෑ මහත්තයා.
ඔබේ නිවසේ පරිපූර්ණ නිමාවකට දවටනේ නියම මිල සඳහන් Swiss Tech නිෂ්පාදන මිලදී ගන්න. Swiss Tech ගන්න ඕනේ හොඳම තීරණය.
Introducing the 2025 TVS Apache RTR 204V.
Rugby.
Live Rugby.
Prima Kotumi Fun Tamari.
මාස 24ක් දක්වා ගෙවීමේ පහසුකම් සමගින් මාසික වාරකයේ රුපියල් 4999යි. අබාන්ස් ජාතියේ පරිගණක සැපයුම්කරු.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence. Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Perfectly. Swiss Tech Aluminium. ඔබත් කොටේෂන් එකක් අරගෙන බලන්න.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Experience what it means to have true peace of mind with NDB credit cards. NDB credit cards, the advantage in your wallet.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
NDB Leasing. බාපු ගමන් නැවෙන් ලීසින් එක අපෙන්. ඉලෙක්ට්‍රික්, හයිබ්‍රිඩ්, පෙට්‍රල්, ඩීසල් ඕනම වාහනයකට නොම්බරේකේ ලීසින්. NDB Leasing. NDB බැංකුව.
ලීසින් එක ගත්ත වේගෙන්ම හවුසින් ලෝන් එක ගන්න ළඟම LB ෆයිනෑන්ස් එකට එන්න.
සීන විමන් මවනා ඔබට
Introducing Elephant House Wonder Bar Gold. Crack your wonder.
Love Rugby.
Live Rugby.
Prima Kotumi Fun Tamari.
Night Go. Pocket perfume. Youth එකට go එකක්.
Perfectly Swiss Tech Aluminium. නඩත්තු වියදම් නැති ජාත්‍යන්තර සහතික සමග වසර 30ක් දක්වා වගකීමක් ඇති Swiss Tech Aluminium. ඔබත් කොටේෂන් එකක් අරගෙන බලන්න.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Welcome back to live pictures from the Sri Lanka Schools League Tournament, brought to you by Dialog. You're live on the Papare, Sri Lanka's #1 sports channel, as St. Thomas's wait to kick off this game, a game that they were supposed to be favourites coming into, a game that is a home game for them as well, but they find themselves 5 points down at the half-time, and that's something that's going to really worry Thomian supporters who have seen this story before. And Thurstan College coming into this game seemed to have a little bit of an edge about them during the warm-up. Arbit, we walked past them when we were coming through from the gate to the commentary position, and they just seem to have that little edge. And that's something that St. Thomas's will definitely need to blunt in the next 30 minutes or so, 35 minutes, if they are going to walk away with a really important win as far as their season goes.
Well, the first half was all Thurstan College, but St. Thomas has managed to sneak in 2 tries there, which just keeps them in the game. And those 2 tries that were conceded by Thurstan College were all because of the fact that they didn't kick and they didn't exit their half Shanaka. There's some good tries from Thurstan College. This was one of my favourite tries that will keep the forwards coach very happy from Thurstan College, but he'll need more of their forwards to defend, because St. Thomas's seem like they're only going to go down route 1, not going to play expansive. And then this try was some good tactical awareness from Thurstan College. But then in the end, to bridge the gap, Zaidan Akbar got a try and made it 15 points to 10. Just 5 points separating the teams. Which team will prevail? Only 35 minutes. At the end of 35 minutes, we'll know.
Once again, the restart is no good. Akbar went too long with one and now he's gone too short with the other. And this is where the individual skills come so much into focus, isn't it, Abi? That it's about getting to the ground early. And if you're an individual skills player, whether you're a hooker, whether you're a kicker, whether you're someone who takes the restart, you've got to do those individual skills before you come together as a team. And that's something I see so much in international rugby. The hookers are the first people out there. The kickers are the second person out there. And they're out there before a good hour before the rest of the team comes on. So you just can't take this stuff for granted, and that's why they're the best in the world. So it's interesting to see these basic mistakes being made at this level. Senat Pereira gets absolutely monstered. He set off on a little bit of a run, but had no one to pass to in the end. And the Thomian midfield needed no second invitation to brutalize the smallest player on the Thurstan team, Akbar. Good hands, Karavita. But that seems to have come off Saleh.
Just before halftime, Thurstanites were warned of offside penalties. Good kick there from Akbar. Gets his team some good meters, and now St. Thomas's need to make this count.
Akbar recovering well from that first restart. Varna Surya in the number 15 jersey will want to get his hands on the ball, try and inject himself into the line here. But before we bring Varna Surya into play, and Pereira has to get it right. We were talking a little while earlier about the line-out calling, Abid. Vanika Surya taking it off the top. Straight through goes Mikhail Karunaratne, but another dropped ball. There's been plenty of those from the Thomians today. And now Rasanjana. T.S. Shalivihara is not on his feet before he catches that ball, and rumbling onto that. He thought he had a head of steam up, did Mikhail, but had to take the ball with him.
But it was not just one defender that was on him, isn't it? There were quite a few defenders. If I'm not mistaken, there were around 3 defenders on Mikhail. One low, one high, one maybe around the waist area. Just forcing him to drop that ball.
I mean, the Rajapaksa with some good technique to get his team beyond the 40-meter line. What I'm not understanding, though, from the Thomians, Abid, is why they're going off the top in those lineouts. They're calling the 4-man lineup. They're allowing 4 men to go outside to mark Mikhail Karunaratne, who's in midfield as well. And they're giving it quickly off the top, making sure that all that defense has all the time to set.
But in the lineouts, they've won 4 each, but in the lineouts, you have to drop back 10 meters, Shanaka. So you need to try and make the most of it if you're going to get your best runners in the line. When you get Mikhail Karunaratne in the line and you make him face the defense right in the middle, that's not going to help you at all.
So 4 each in the Rexona line-out statistics as Viraj comes running all the way back. That's a lovely bit of skill to get Akisha Pushpakumara away. Romet Vijayasinghe does well to slow that ball down, and in the end Karavita covers it, but Romet Vijayasinghe had sealed that ball off.
Still very early on in this second half, just 5 minutes gone, but you sense something loading, isn't it? Thurstan College seemed to be... It's a long time to go, 30 minutes to go in this game, but Thurstan College just seemed to have the goods to beat this Thomian team.
Well, they want it bad, don't they? They know this is the big scalp they can get. I think Royal might be a mountain too high to climb. But this Tomian team, especially when it's the first game, is there for the taking without Udan Bulatsingalage as well. Their regular number 10, he's out with an injury. And a makeshift number 10 in Mayank Dias coming in. So, lots of reasons why, from a Thurstan point of view, this Tomian team is ripe for the plucking.
And if the score stands as it is, it really blows open this group, doesn't it? Got St. Thomas's and Royal. St. Thomas's finished 3 in last year's league. 4 other.
Nicely won by Anavaratna. They've sacked him, but it doesn't matter because the ball is still available. Senath Pereira. Again, the ball from the base is a little slow, as that time Tenuka Viran is forced to take it into contact. Senath looking for the big man Tarusha, who came on and made a difference in the scrum, led to the third try. Inside the 22. And it's interesting that the Thurstan team are the ones who've been playing the closer rugby. Viran to Saleh. Into the 22 again they go. It's been dropped and Viran will run at the winger. Manages to make it available, but Ziad does well to
And if you're not sure of the ball, you just don't go for the ball. You wait for someone behind you to come and pick it up. Good work at ruck time from St. Thomas's, just not able to finish it off. Now Thurstan College, they've got able runners on either side of the pitch. Seems like they're going to the right-hand side of that scrum.
picked up by Rasanjana. They've got an extra man on the blind side. Darren George, and this is excellent from Rajapaksa, who gets over the try line, and you can see the defensive alignment once again. Outstanding work from Thurstan, exploiting that blind side. Once again, Rasanjana not going too far with that number 8 break. Just made sure he used Senath Pereira as the extra man, and that kept the Tomian defense guessing. And Rajapaksa needed no second invitation to make use of George's commitment to his outside man. And that's the Amana Bank try, the 4th of them, and the bonus point try as well for Thurstan.
Well, just defense not drifting fast enough for St. Thomas's College. Nothing working so far for the Tomians.
Well, there's a shot from that knockout final team of 1996, and the looks of their faces, if they could be captured, I think would say much more than we ever could in this commentary box. Akisha Pushpakumara not on target with that gold conversion. Let's look at it here. Nicely done. Committed Romit Vijay Singh. And they really needed to have 2 players coming across. You have to ask yourself where the angled run of the number 8 was. To corner flag. And it's one of those core skills that you learn when you're playing number 8. That corner flagging is just something you have to do. And these are things that maybe get lost in the fact that now positional play is maybe less specific than it used to be.
It was a great position for a scrum for Thurstan, you have to give them that. They exploited the space well. Options on both sides, took the right option. Number 8 break was great, and this clearance is also very good. Top-notch stuff from Thurstan College.
Akisha Pushpakumara with that thump. Really good work from him. And it's an early score in the second half for the Thurstanites. This man has been good. Anavaratna in the line-out. Ayan Pereira getting an earful. Rico Piaratna at number 1 in the line-out. Once again, coming and going. Not leaving the line-out on time. It's a quick tap for... It's a free kick and it's taken quickly by Sanat Pereira. Rasanjana has been good today. Nice little chip through and it's found some space. Karavita does really good to come back and field that ball. That's excellent work. Outstanding work over the ball from the prop, Kesara Tilakaratna. Here goes the opposite prop. And now St. Thomas's will get a talking to. It's more than a talking to, it's a card.
But I really don't think St. Thomas's deserved that talking to either. It was just, it really warranted a card. St. Thomas's not dropping back the 10 metres, even off the free kick, Shanaka. They were not back. Tisha Aluvihara gets the card, 20 points to 10. There's a huge mountain to climb for the Thomians. To try and not fall prey to an upset. As Thurstan just keep going along their merry way here.
Well, you have to say, Abid, as you were saying a little while earlier, that if there is an upset in this game, it will be St. Thomas's winning it. Because the way that Thurstan have played, they deserve every point of this 10-point lead.
Well, this 10 points lead has really lifted the spirits of the Thurstanites as well, isn't it? And if you take them a lot forward in this Dialog Schools Rugby League as well, a win against a big school early on.
Another line out. That this is one area that both teams have competed pretty well. In that they haven't been so good in the line out. Sanat Pereira asking his forwards to come around and help. So they keep it close. Here it is now for the 3 quarters. Rajapaksa with a little chip kick. It's a good one as well. Falls kindly. And oh, it just doesn't manage to get it down. Just does not manage to get it down. There's Munasinghe chasing through. The man who scored the first Amana Bank try could have had another. But what good vision from Rajapaksa.
Well, I'll tell you, there's a lot of space in the back of the Thomian defense, and now Thurstan College are starting to find it. They found it once before where they put the little grubber in. Karavita was there to clear that one up. This time there was absolutely no one for St. Thomas's. And watch Thurstan try to exploit that gap.
Aluvihara's off the park. 1 flanker less, 1/3 rower less. Rico Piaratna gives it to Mayank Dias, who's on the correct side for his left boot, but they will now counter-attack. Munasinghe gets caught just in front of the 40-meter mark, and holding on is the call. Taken quickly, or he's trying to take it quickly, is Makal Karunaratne, but thinks better of it in the end.
Well, they can't let the scoreline get ahead of them, St. Thomas's here. They need to play a game of rugby. It's not a game of catch-up that they need to play. They need to play the game of rugby that they have been taught and the game of rugby that they know, isn't it? They need to get 5-pointers, 3-pointers. They need to somehow close this gap. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they somehow need to close the gap. And 10 points is not that big of a gap if you really think of it. It's a quick try. Quick 2 tries would do it for St. Thomas's. Now they're on the right part of the field. They look to go short, but Thurstan College closed the gap, so there's a free kick coming for the Thomians.
Dias gives it to his captain. They drag him to ground, his opposite number, Rasanjana. But he gets them to the 22. Here's Zabri. Zabri to Varnasuriya. Varnasuriya just can't get free. It's a really good ankle tap tackle in the end by Saleh, the captain. This is better from the Thomians. Rico Pieratna, and now across the face. Cutting in with a lovely angle that time was Heliagoda, who's made an entry. Here's Akbar. They're up on him very quickly, but he stays on his feet nicely. Mayanka Dias, it was a little slow for him, but Mikhail Karnaratna asked for it, and Arya Mansa drops the ball once again.
St. Thomas's need to go for the 3 here. No two words about it. They have to go for the 3. And they take the quick tap.
Well, they need the win, don't they? But there's plenty of time, 20 minutes left. Got to back themselves, especially with one man in the bin. But it looks like they've got their confidence, and yes, it looks like there is a Amanda Bank try for the Thomians out of that. Looks like it's Romit Vijay who scored. $15 points with the conversion to come.
St. Thomas's deny the 3 and get the 5. Now that's good stuff from St. Thomas's. Now that phase of play, it looked like they had intent. They were quick to the ruck. Quick ball for Pieratna. Latching on, going. That was good stuff from St. Thomas's. It seems like if they're going to win this game, it's going to be through their forwards.
Yes, and which is why I don't understand why they haven't gone to their forwards a little earlier in the game, as Mayanka Dias puts this through, and for the first goal conversion of all 7 tries we've had so far. And that brings St. Thomas's to within 3 points. I would not want to be in the shoes of either of the coaches in this game.
Thurstan need to kick deep here. There's your Mana Bank try scorer, Vijay Singh. This needs to go deep.
Once again, Rajapaksa just foxing the Thomians and kicking to the opposite side that he was thinking about. And that one was a lovely kick from Varnasuriya. But it's out on the full. It was taken back. It was collected outside the 22 and taken back. So good awareness from Tarindu Pereira on the near side. Referee, the assistant referee. Or Ruan Suranga, in fact. Priya Suranga it is. On the near side.
Thurstan went on this side of the pitch. They need to come back with some kind of points. St. Thomas's have bridged the gap to just 3. Good pressure at the line out, but the Thomians have knocked it on.
Here it is again available there, using the advantage and by Haliagoda, but they'll come back for the line out, for the knock forward. Wasn't a knock forward, there was an infringement in the line out. Didn't see exactly what it was, but they will get the penalty.
I think there was a little touch from the Thomian jumper there. So he's knocked the ball on. It's a scrum on the 50-meter line. There's an open blind side here for Thurstan College if they wish to use it. No flanker as well. No number 8 rather.
Well, that's exactly what they were trying to do, but Rasanjana makes his first mistake of the game. And Romit Vijay lets him know too.
St. Thomas's are not going to win this game by playing flamboyant rugby, isn't it, Shanaka? They're going to have to play hard, gutsy rugby, and they'll get over the line with just a 2-point gap or a 3-point gap at least, or at most. Now from here they need to get onto the right part of the pitch. They can't be on this side. Big hush around this Air Force grounds in Ratmalana. But it looks like it's a bit of an early shove from St. Thomas's. Or it's an illegal bind.
Pulling down on the loose head side, so these are unpardonable mistakes when you have an opportunity. So it is a free kick, which means that they can't ask for another scrum. A tap and go it will be, as Anavaratna takes this and gives it to Rasanjana. Oh, and that's been knocked forward, so unfortunate for Thurstan that time. Tarusha just unable to run onto that ball fast enough.
Well, we've gone from set piece to set piece in the last few minutes, and that has really halted the momentum that Thurstan College has had, and it has invited St. Thomas's back into the game.
Romit Vijay goes off and is replaced by the returning T.H. Alavihara and also by Fernando in the number 19 jersey. Rico Piaratna gives it to Akbar, who thumps it straight down the field, and that's been knocked forward and hacked forward this time again. Falling onto it was Varnasurya. It's not been knocked forward, so they will play on. Now the space opens up for Mikhail Karunaratne. Needs a runner off his shoulder, and that runner is Akbar. Akbar goes into the 22. Scrambling defense by Thurstan. St. Thomas is desperate to get into the lead for the first time in this game, but Thurstan's defense regroups and smashes them back. Here's Mikhail Karunaratne again. Aman Imran. Here it is for Haliegoda, and it's put down by Dias. It's not a pass that needed to go. Haliegoda needed to take that defensive line on himself. But Thurstan still going. It wasn't knocked on. I thought for all money that it came off somebody's hand, but it didn't by the looks of things as Mikhail Karunaratne tries to wriggle himself free. It's available for Piaratne. Here's a Haliegoda. That time he does knock it on. And the returning Chanutta Haliegoda, just short of match practice. He would have scored for all money a couple of seasons from that position. But this time coughs it up, but that's more promising for him.
Pouncing on the communication error in the back line from Thurstan College. There's a player that was darting in from back position to collect that ball, and the ball went loose. For Thurstan, needs to be the opposite. They need to leave this part of the field.
Serbians have shoved, but they can't shove more than 1.5 meters. And Rajapaksa is forced to put that deep. And it's been knocked forward by, I think it was first by Zaid Irshad. The Thomians hand it off to Ahaliagoda. Ahaliagoda pumps his legs. He's been joined by his mates from the back of the scrum and eventually gets to the floor. Aluvihara now looking to free his arms, find an offload. Here's Aman Imran. Gets to the 5-meter line. Still going. Other Thomian forwards, Aluvihara. The Thomian supporters seem to have found their voice in the near side. And Mayanka Dias, lovely pass to Varna Surya, who hits the gap. Dias straightened that beautifully, and Varna Surya also changed his angle just before he hit that ball. And after the forwards had punched the hole, Varna Surya gets the Amana Bank try.
But that's more like it from St. Thomas's. That's the bonus point winning Amana Bank try as well. Varna Surya goes over, and for the first time in this game, Shanak, it took 60 minutes for the Thomians to get themselves into the lead. But this time, the decoy lines were working for St. Thomas's. Everything just seemed to fall in place in that phase of play. Varna Surya touchdown to get St. Thomas's the lead. And a very important conversion coming up for Mayanka Dias. If this doesn't go through, Thurstan College could take the lead back with a 3-pointer.
Goal conversion coming up. The Thurstan players lined up on the try line, knowing how important this conversion is. And it's good from Dias. It's a 4-point cushion, but if this game is anything to go by, 4 points is anything but a cushion as the goal conversion goes over. But it's an important 4 points, and that's the only thing that separates the two sides. Both of them have a bonus point for the 4 tries. Dias with the ball in both hands there, just standing up. Rajapaksa in defense couldn't drift off onto Varna Surya, was hitting a nice line. And that's the importance of carrying the ball in both hands, just always keeping the defense guessing.
9 minutes left on our clock. Anything could happen in this game. Thurstan College have led for 60 minutes, but now St. Thomas's seem to have found their mojo in the dying parts of this game. And when it really matters is at the end of the 70 minutes, who's in front.
It's a lovely restart, well regathered by Thurstan as well. Outstanding work in the air and superb skill execution from Rajapaksa. Thurstan have to make sure that they don't panic now. They've been the better side for most parts of this game. Don't need to do too much different in the last 9 minutes. Rasanjana, and once again the penalty coming. It's a high shot against Rasanjana.
It's right in the middle of the pitch, so he's going to have to select which side. He's going to kick it into touch too. Just needs to find touch here. Amidu Rajapaksa has had a very good game, and that kick is a very good one as well.
But he did the sensible thing. He knew which side the wind was coming from and just rode it. Thomians have Dammage also on the pitch. Started a couple of games on the wing. Rico Piaratna stayed on for the whole hour. The youngster, barely 16 years old. is the man who's done a lot of work today, Kesara Tilakaratne. He's carried strong and he's actually made a big difference in the scrums for Thurstan as well. Getting a well-deserved break at the moment. Doctor just carrying out an assessment on him.
And it's been a pretty silent game, isn't it? You'd expect a schools rugby game to be loud. Not too much noise from both camps. With the pendulum now swinging towards St. Thomas's. Thurstan need to get it back and they have 7 minutes to do so.
Nice win at number 2 for Thurstan once again. It's Anavaratna who's been very good in that position, spoiling as well as winning ball for the Thurstanites. And that's been knocked forward. A welcome reprieve for the Thomians. And it's a fatigue setting in now, isn't it, Abid? You can see the big forwards, they're running onto the ball, but not with the same vigor as they did a little while earlier.
And now it's going to come down to conditioning, isn't it? These conditioning is what's going to take you home. And a stronger bench is also what's going to take you home. And St. Thomas's seem to have brought the X factor from the bench.
Yes, you have to say the Thomian finishers have probably performed a little bit better than their starters have done. As Akbar uses his huge boot to give this to Akisha Pushpakumara, who takes a very low slip catch but leaves it behind.
Well, one misjudgment in the air in the back three for Thurstan College invited St. Thomas's to take the lead. And does this error allow St. Thomas's to win the game? Only time will tell. There's been a gutsy performance from Thurstan, hasn't it? For 60 minutes. And they just need to hold on for 10 minutes longer. They need to get a try here. 3 points will not do. They need to get a 5-pointer. But before that, they need to stop this Thomian juggernaut that has seemed to have found their mojo.
He's done with his day, Kesara Tilakaratne, and how well he has played for Thurstan. Mayanka Dias, smashing tackle on Varna Surya. Saleh has been superb today in defence. And here's Mikhail Karunaratne, the captain, just hasn't been able to break that first line of defence. Well picked up by Zaidan Akbar. And Chaluta Haliagoda shows and goes and throws a pass that maybe didn't need to be thrown. Rico Pieratman. That ball has come off the hand of the Thurstanite tackler, so it will be play on. Yes, Aluvihara asked for it, but in the end it was Jayasena who drove it forward. Good body position from Thurstan, making sure they don't allow any easy fast ball for the Thomians. Dias does really well to place that one back nicely. Tiesha Aluvihara. There's been plenty of running. Its ball has gone backwards, but it's been picked up by Senat Pereira. And Munasinghe just can't hold on. Oh, it's been a comedy of errors from both teams in terms of ball handling. But the rub of the green that time going Thurston's way.
If there's anything that these teams have to go back to the drawing board, it's the very basics. The first thing that you do when you start the season, which is catch and pass. Before that, catching has been a problem for both teams.
St. Thomas's won't mind this too much because it is in the right part of the pitch for them. Thurstan emptying their bench, just trying to get some fresh legs on to see if they can spark something. Senat Pereira, Viraj, and here's a little wraparound move from Pereira and bringing Saleh into the game. Saleh gets past the first man, Does beautifully to offload to Akisha Pushpakumara, who will be such a relieved man that his knock-on didn't have any real effect. He ran that time. Here's Rasanjana. Slowed the ball down. They needed to be fast this time. Going back to the blind side. Here's the man who's just gone on. Ayodh Veerasinghe. Going back to the blind side. Here's the skipper Saleh. It's been knocked forward and it's still play on. Akisha Pushpakumara cutting back from that right hand touchline. And the penalty is coming. That's a really important penalty for Thurstan. Can they get this down into a dangerous area?
Well, this is fingernail biting stuff, isn't it? The ambition from Thurstan College to go for a set move play off the scrum. Oh, gets the ball into touch. What a kick there from Rajapaksa. He's played a really good hand today, and that kick has put his team in prime position to take this game. It's a line out coming their way, and they need to get this Rexona line out sorted.
Munasinghe comes off as Hassan the Cecila goes on. The nerves in this line out. Anavaratna does really well. They're driving. The Thomians have collapsed it, which means that they will. Oh, and it's a try. They don't need the penalty. They don't need the penalty. The try is scored. It's a fifth Amana Bank try under the posts for Thurstan College. And it's Tarinda Sena Ratna with that fifth, and you have to say winning Amana Bank try for the Thurstanites.
Well, the tries that have been scored so far have just come off one-off play, but this was a beauty from Thurstan College. You can see the disappointment in the faces of the Thomian supporters. Thurstan College needed a 5-pointer. They've got a 5-pointer. It's 25-24 with the kick to come. Oh, Thurstan College, what a game you've had. You've shifted gears when it mattered the most.
Akisha Pushpakumara with the conversion. The goal conversion is good. It's not going to be a 1-point victory. It's going to be a 3-point victory. And for me, Abid, Akisha Pushpakumara has been outstanding on the left wing. The man who just put that conversion over. And for me, despite some excellent performances by Anavaratna, the front row, as well as Jayathu Rasanjana and Aminda Rajapaksa, I have to feel that Akisha Pushpakumara in the number 11 jersey is our Swiss Tech perfect player of the game today.
Well, what a moment for Thurstan College. They'll be proud, old boys, watching this on the Papare. And a dejected St. Thomas's team can only watch the Thurstanites celebrating their victory, and a well-earned victory at that. What a game from Thurstan College. There was a little phase in that game, Shanaka, where they lost hold of this game. After the 60th minute, you thought maybe they just let go of this game. But then that scrum, what a massive scrum. And what ambition to play off the back line and play a set move from their own 22. Coach Shamli Nawaz can be very proud of his boys today.
Oh, he would have enjoyed that. He doesn't smile much nowadays that we are both old men, Abid, but he would definitely have enjoyed that. It's a team that he coached previously, and he would have loved that scalp. Tristan Healy, absolutely dejected as he should be. But good to see that the teams are shaking hands, that there is a camaraderie that remains, but the basic errors from St. Thomas is inexcusable at this level, and we'll certainly not be giving them any more. confidence going into the rest of the season. It's got to be a lot to fix, and we thought the quarter-final result was something that might have helped them to do the preparations, the hard preparations that were needed to get to this point, but unfortunately for them, it was not to be. 27 points to 24, a famous day for Thurstan Rugby, and St. Thomas's lose their first home game and start off the league season with certainly a result that they would wish was different.
Well, this victory from Thurstan College just blows open this group that has Royal College and St. Thomas's. It was a very good try here. I thought that man in the number 12 jumpers was very good, Rajapaksa. But then this is where St. Thomas's started to find some momentum. Got 2 quick tries. Dias was on point with the 2 conversions as well. This was, I thought, one of the better tries from St. Thomas's, where Varna Surya touchdown. Dias got the goal conversion through, and Thurstan College, it was a 4-point cap, Shanaka. They needed a 5-pointer to win it. And not just a 5-pointer, they got themselves a 7-pointer. What a game from Thurstan College. Not the prettiest performances, but a performance that gets them the big W and gets them a bonus point.
It certainly does. A huge performance from them. St. Thomas's will have to console themselves with a losing bonus point. And Akisha Pushpakumara, among a Thurstan team that was very, very difficult to pick a Swiss Tech player of the game from. You have to take your hat off to Rasanjana, to Aminda Rajapaksa as well, who are definitely in with a shout, and to the big man Kesara Tilakaratna, who tried manfully for 68 minutes. But Akisha Pushpakumara, for the runs that he made, for the points that he was able to get on the board in the end, and also for the territorial kicking and the defense that he put on, he was by a whisker our Swiss Tech perfect player of the game.
5-1 is the try to conversion ratio for Thurstan College, but the upcoming fixtures, there are 2 games coming your way tomorrow. That's on Saturday, and 2 games coming on Sunday. Trinity College host Lumbini College for their first game in the Dialog Schools Rugby League. Kingswood take on Zahira College. That will be worked off at the Bogambara Stadium. Isipatara College take on St. Anthony's College on Sunday, and Royal College host Science College at the complex.
Well, what a start to the season. What an absolutely topsy-turvy start to the season. We've seen the bottom-seeded team smash the second-seeded team in this first game of the season, and it's going to be a really interesting one as we move forward in this Dialog Schools rugby season. Thank you very much for joining us, from Abid Jamil and myself from the Air Force grounds and the rest of our Papare crew. Don't forget to join us tomorrow also for the Sri Lanka under-85 team taking on the New Zealand and Sri Lanka team taking on the under-85 of New Zealand, and that's going to be a cracking game at the Racecourse grounds as well. See you all tomorrow. Until then, it's goodbye for now.
Stand by for opener.
Sri Lanka's #1 sports channel, ThePapare.
3, 2, 1. roller.
ඉස්දින්න ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ අංක 1 ක්‍රීඩා නාලිකාව ThePapare සමගින්.
Welcome back to ThePapare.
Welcome to the live broadcast on ThePapare.
Good luck, guys. Good luck, everyone.
The Papare, Sri Lanka's #1 television sports channel.
ගෙවන් යන්න ෆෝන්ස් ගන්න ළඟම ආබාන්ස් එකට යන්න ලොකු පොඩි හැම ෆෝන්ස් ගන්න ළඟම ආබාන්ස් එකට යන්න හොඳම ෆෝන් එකක් ගන්න ළඟම ආබාන්ස් එකට යන්න.
Introducing Elephant House Wonder Bar Gold. Crack your wonder.
Introducing new Air Action Mentos, the peak of freshness. Mentos, yes to fresh.
Introducing Elephant House Wonder Bar Gold. Crack your wonder.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
දවසම ෆ්‍රෙෂ් වෙන්න O3 Spirit and Freedom perfumed body spray.
Pain can pause your active life. Get the all-new Move Pain Relief Spray for fast, long-lasting pain relief.
Experience what it means to have true peace of mind with NDB credit cards. NDB credit cards, the advantage in your wallet.
එතකොට මහත්තයාරුනේ ටයිල් ඇඩිසිව් ග්‍රවුට් වෝටර්ප්‍රූෆින් ස්කිම් කොට් නේ.
ලොකු ඩිස්කවුන්ට් එකක් නැද්ද මුදලාලි අතන කඩේ 140ක් දෙන්නම් කිව්වා.
බෑග් වල බොරු ගණන් ගහලා පස්සේ ලොකු ඩිස්කවුන්ට් දෙන දේවල් මාගාව නෑ මහත්තයා.
ඔබේ නිවසේ පරිපූර්ණ නිමාවකට දවටනේ නියම මිල සඳහන් ස්විස් ටෙක් නිෂ්පාදන මිලදී ගන්න. ස්විස් ටෙක් ගන්න ඕනේ හොඳම තීරණය.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Love Rugby.
Live Rugby.
Prima Kotumi. Fun tamai.
ලීසින් එක ගත්ත වේගෙන්ම හවසින් ලෝන් එක ගන්න ළඟම LB ෆයිනෑන්ස් එකට
සීන විමන් මවනා ඔබටයි.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
බෑග් වල බොරු ගණන් ගහලා පස්සේ ලොකු ඩිස්කවුන්ට් දෙන දේවල් මාගාව නෑ මහත්තයා.
ඔබේ නිවසේ පරිපූර්ණ නිමාවකට දවටනේ නියම මිල සඳහන් ස්විස් ටෙක් නිෂ්පාදන මිලදී ගන්න. ස්විස් ටෙක් ගන්න ඕනේ හොඳම තීරණය.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
හඳුන්වාදන කීල්ස් ක්‍රෙස්ට් සෝස් රස දෙකකින් ටොමාටෝ රසෙන් සහ නයිමිරිස් රසෙන් කීල්ස් ක්‍රෙස්ට් නිවසින් පාවිච්චිට පහසු වෙනස් පැහැඩයකින් යුත් රසකාර කඩංගු නැති හලල් සහතිකයලා කීල්ස් ක්‍රෙස්ට් සෝස් රසගුණ සපිරි කෑම මොහොතකට
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
කිචන් එක අබාස් කරන්නේ දැන් වයිෆුත් හැපි එකේ ඉන්නේ. වයිෆ් හැපි කරන්න කිචන් එක අබාස් කරන්න.
අවුව නිසා බොඩි එක කූල් නැත්තම් මයින්ඩ් එකත් කූල් නැහැ. ඒකට තමයි ඩෙටෝල් අයිසි කූල්. අවුවත් එක්ක ඇති වෙන දාඩිය නිසා හැදෙන විෂ බීජ වලින් ආරක්ෂා කර ඔබේ ඇඟ 3 ගුණයකින් කූල් කරයි.
Perfectly Swiss Tech Aluminium. නඩත්තු වියදම් නැති ජාත්‍යන්තර සහතික සමග වසර 30ක් දක්වා වගකීමක් ඇති Swiss Tech Aluminium. ඔබත් කොටේෂන් එකක් අරගෙන බලන්න.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Love Rugby.
Live Rugby.
Prima Kotumi. Fun tamai.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Pain can pause your active life. Get the all-new Move Pain Relief Spray for fast, long-lasting pain relief.
ලීසින් එක ගත්ත වේගෙන්ම හවසින් ලෝන් එක ගන්න ළඟම LB ෆයිනෑන්ස් එකට එන්න.
සිහින විමන් මවනා ඔබටයි.
Perfectly Swiss Tech Aluminium. නඩත්තු වියදම් නැති ජාත්‍යන්තර සහතික සමග වසර 30ක් දක්වා වගකීමක් ඇති Swiss Tech Aluminium. ඔබත් කොටේෂන් එකක් අරගෙන බලන්න.
නව Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Introducing the 2025 TVS Apache RTR 204V.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Pain can pause your active life. Get the all-new Woo Pain Relief Spray for fast, long-lasting pain relief.
අවුව නිසා බොඩි එක කූල් නැත්තම් මයින්ඩ් එකත් කූල් නැහැ. ඒකට තමයි ඩෙටෝල් අයිසි කූල්. අවුවත් එක්ක ඇති වෙන දාඩිය නිසා හැදෙන විෂ බීජ වලින් ආරක්ෂා කර ඔබේ ඇඟ 3 ගුණයකින් කූල් කරයි.
Perfectly Swiss Tech Aluminium. ඔබත් කොටේෂන් එකක් අරගෙන බලන්න.
නව Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
NDB Leasing බාපු ගමන් නැවෙන් ලීසින් එක අපෙන් ඉලෙක්ට්‍රික් හයිබ්‍රිඩ් පෙට්‍රල් ඩීසල් ඕනම වාහනයකට නොම්බරේකේ ලීසින් NDB Leasing NDB බැංකුව.
දවසම refresh when the train එකට go.
Night Go Pocket Perfume youth එකට go එකක්.
Introducing new Air Action Mentos, the peak of freshness. Mentos, yes to fresh.
නව Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
අබාන්ස් ෆ්‍රිජ් කියන්නේ අබාන්ස් ෆ්‍රිජ් කියන්නේ පවුලට හරිම ෆ්‍රිජ් එකක්. අබාන්ස් ෆැමිලි එකට හරියන අපේ රටේ ෆ්‍රිජ් එක.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Introducing Elephant House Wonder Bar Gold. Crack your wonder.
Perfectly Swiss Tech Aluminium. ඔබත් කොටේෂන් එකක් අරගෙන බලන්න.
Let's KFC. Making moments special. Most value for money from KFC.
සැරටම enjoy කරන්න party එකට go.
Night Go Pocket Perfume youth එකට go එකක්.
NDB Leasing බාපු ගමන් නැවෙන් ලීසින් එක අපෙන් ඉලෙක්ට්‍රික් හයිබ්‍රිඩ් පෙට්‍රල් ඩීසල් ඕනම වාහනයකට නොම්බරේකේ ලීසින් NDB Leasing NDB බැංකුව.
Love Rugby,
Live Rugby.
Prima Kotumi, Fun Tamari.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Pain can pause your active life. Get the all-new Woo Pain Relief Spray for fast, long-lasting pain relief.
නව Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.